That was well read. Would have been a winner.
3-8.
Good drop shots disguised at the end as well. Thankfully, the Nusajaya pairing were right, whether by accident or not, in the right place at the right time. Unlucky on that.
9-3.
Almost perfect from them. Almost.
10, game point, 3.
And just a couple of strokes, and before you know it, it's 2-love. They've won 11-3. And that makes it 9 unanswered games that Muar City have won in this, including this fourth match, sorry. Really commanding performance from them. Very impressive, setting the benchmark in the league so far. This is what it's all about, having strength in each of the categories. Definitely depth in men's doubles and men's singles, as there are 2 of those matches within the tie. And Muar City so far have been making all the right moves, all the right decisions, and scoring all the points. So it's now 11-1 in game difference. And what a lead they will take to the top of the table if they can maintain this level of pressure for the final 2 matches. Oh, gifted a point there. And that was... It does at least look that, at least that Lim for Nusajaya is beginning to find her range. Communication with a partner still not up to the same level as Arif and Zhao. And they are good at doing this. They are good at keeping pegged with their opponents. It's, as I said, just moving ahead. To that extra gear that they need to create 3 or 4 point gaps. That will make them a lot more confident and relaxed in their game. But by always trailing and always just level pegging, it's very hard to get into that zone. Just always seem to have the ability to win the point that they need. Arif and Zhao. In fact, it could be said for most of their Muar City teammates as well. Look at that. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They were not in any way going to entertain any kind of long rally. Both the returns, just 2 of them. So pacey, so low. That point was over. Now, Quan and Lim may be facing a situation where they don't quite know how to respond to this. And that smash definitely from Arif has been one of the things he's known for, of course. He's known around the national circuit. Another one of the contenders. Prospects for one of the being the next big star, and the smash is famed. He's been using it to good effect here He's playing with a smile on his face right now.
Samsona. 6-8.
A little bit better from Kwan and Lim. They still don't look like they're in any kind of opportunity or situation where they could steal a game back, but some consistency in the last 2 or 3 points, I'm sure they'll be happy with. An uncharacteristic error there from Chow. That was an important point. Could have been 9-7. 9-6, sorry.
Samsona. 9-7.
It's just a couple of errors creeping into Chow's game.
8-9.
I'm still expecting them to take this. Very odd to see that.
9-4.
A serve that's just high enough to be out of full reach. Chow showing she's not afraid to smash. That one's gone wide though, so a chance now.
10-8.
However they got here. Nusajaya with game point. What significant game this would be. And they've got it. So this one isn't going to be a clean sweep. But I still have to say, a game that was lost as opposed to a game that was won. But that's going to deliver that important 2 to Nusajaya, as this game goes to 4 and breaks that run of 9 straight games won by Muar City. And that's the important thing to do. So Chow Narif still well in control, more in terms of their game than the actual points, but maybe they'll try and pull in a few of their own unforced errors here. And if they're going to be gifted points like that, it might be easier than they think. Don't forget that Kwan Ben Hong, the captain of Nusajaya as well, so more important to him than anyone else that start racking up some games. It's a good example to his players that he's delivered the second one. Now, if you've just joined us, this is the Kopiko Purple League, live exclusive on Astro. You can catch an Astro Supersport, Astro Arena and Astro on the go. Entirely new revelation in badminton in Malaysia, widely followed of course for many years, both in Indonesia and Malaysia and in this region of the world. And so far everybody has reacted very well to this new point system. Games played to 11 points. 5 games, best of 5 in every match. 6 matches in every tie. Played over 3 months in a league table format where every game counts and every point counts. And there's that just execution of power. And what was really worrying there is the fact that Kwon and Lim really were not moving at all. So you're just standing there, just almost waiting for the smashes to come in. If you're going to invite that kind of power,
3-5.
then you can expect to not pick up that many points. So we need a lot more movement from Nusajaya. The critical game for them. It'd be good if they could take this to 5. They can win points against Arif and Chao. Just not regularly enough.
6-4.
Again, a 3-point lead at just the right time.
8-4.
7, 8, and 9, the most important points.
7-7. 5-8.
Before you know it, we're here again, and I don't think Arif and Chao are going to make any mistakes from now on as they head to match point. Well, a little blip that game that they lost, but and don't forget that was 11-10 with the 1 point deciding these games. It could have very easily been 3-love. I'm expecting this point to, well, I was about to say go to Muar City, but instead, in the commentator's curse, Nusajaya get a chance back. But they quickly finish it off 11-6. So 11-6, 11-3, 10-11, and another 11-6 to finish that off. And with that, that means we are 12-2 in the game tie. Almost unassailable, but let's just see how the final 2 matches go as we hear from the winners, who will be talking to JD on court.
It's a 3-1 win, and the Jeevan, we're down here on the tournament arena floor. Muar City lead by 12-2 right now. Right now we have the players with us. How do you feel now with such a huge lead? Are you feeling a lot more confident that your team will be able to win all the way?
Yeah, for me, maybe I'm quite confident for this match. Maybe my teammates can win all the match.
Because no other team has picked up 18 games straight. That means all 6 matches, all 6 ties are won. Do you think your team will be the first one to do it?
Yes, of course. I believe my team can do it.
Anything you want to say to the fans of Muar City VC?
Keep support Muar City VC.
Thank you very much. All right, Muar City VC take an unassailable lead already. Back to you in the commentary box.
Thanks for that, JD. 2 more matches to be played.
I tell you what, this is the Kopiko Purple League.
As we look at a powerful display from Chao and Arif. And it really was just a little blip. And you just see the difference in pace and the confidence that they were playing in. Captain Kwon Beng Hong and his partner Lim were just literally on the defensive all the way. And if we look at the stats, not surprising, the unforced errors 20-13. Arif and Chao 39, fully in control of the net. And a lot more smashes as well, so another comprehensive victory. As we go to the second men's singles, the fifth match, Tan Chun Xiang playing this man here, Chong Yi-han.
Your technical team for this match, ladies and gentlemen. Your chair umpire, Muhammad Ezat Salman, service judge, Tiong Yu Ching.
And that's confirmation of that.
Over to the coin toss right now.
As we get to the coin toss. So really it is, at this point now, with just 2 matches left in this time, a case of Nusajaya just racking up as much as they can. Years old, Tan Chun Xiang ranked 63rd in the world. The higher ranked, he's playing Chong Yi-han, ranked 157th, just 20th. So on paper, this should also go to Muar City. And that is a frightening prospect in terms of the game difference. Should this also be 3-love? Mohamed Ezad back in the umpire's chair. He'll be joined by Tiong Yu Jin in the service judge chair. Chong Yi-han's best ever ranking was 140th. He also has played a few tournaments. He has traveled to India for the Grand Prix Gold. Made it to the second round there. Made it to the third round of the Indonesia International Challenge. Also played in the Badminton Asia Championships, China Masters, and the Indonesian Masters in 2014. As I said, not many results came off that with these second and third round exits, but it's of course always important to play international players and international tournaments. And one of those at the China Masters, of course, he got the honor, I suppose you could say, of losing to Gao Tianyu, one of the Chinese players, 17-21, 18-21. So he did take it all the way. And I do say it's an honor to lose to Chinese players, especially if you're a younger player, because Chinese badminton really is on a completely different level. And while it is tested by the likes of Indonesian badminton especially, you can always guarantee that the Chinese contingent will fare well, and Chinese players within them. There are even special rules that surround Chinese badminton, because there are so many Chinese players. Of course, at one point, the top 4 or 5, even 6 of the women's players were all Chinese. And of course, you couldn't let them all go to the Olympics, so there was a quota. Only the top 2 could go. In the end, it was the likes of Wang Shixian who would miss out on big tournaments, even though she deserved to go simply because of the likes of Wang Yihan and Wang Xin. But that's Chinese badminton, and hopefully with tournaments like this, a developmental system can be set up in Malaysia, which will see more and more players being developed to match that pool. Now, as I said, on paper, this should be a very easy match for Tan Chun Xiang. And don't forget that his younger opponent, Chong Yi-han, is also playing with the knowledge that his club are currently 12-2 down in the tie, as you can see there. It's not easy to settle all this information in your head and then deliver. One's wide. Now we get to see what Tan Chun Xiang can do. Much more experienced, of course. And right now he's being not outplayed, but outscored by his opponent. His best ever ranking was 32nd in the world, so he should be making easy work of this. And that, I think, should be called in. It was just on the line. 6-1 now. Good showing here from the Nusajaya player. Something I'm sure his teammates will be watching on. It will do them a world of good just to win one game. But these are really a lot of errors that are creeping in from Tan Junxiang. He actually made it to the final of the Kuching International Challenge 2014. That was earlier this month, where he lost to Li Hyunil. And we also saw today 21-17, 16-21, 11-21. So it really doesn't look like that scoreline should be applied to him. Possibly a lack of concentration. He's lucky that, of course, his club is that far ahead. But I'm sure he's not going to like losing. This is one of the biggest margins we've seen, and would be considered the first clear upset. Younger player, lesser ranked, less experienced. Now, if he can claw it back from here and keep Muar City's record intact, that really would be a headline. So far, he's doing well. This is a perplexing game. Who knows what was going in around in the head of Tan Junxiang, and all he needed was that point, and he got it. So, the least expected, Chong Yi-han has delivered a game, an important game for his club Nusajaya. That makes it 12-3. And all you can say to him is well done. Now, whether it was a lack of focus, we saw a good run of points from Tan Junxiang just there, but he left it too late. Good example of how the 11-point game can really ruin you if you just lose focus, and I think that's what happened to him in the early part of that game. So we're expecting now, for a quick word from his coaches, to see him come out and justify the fact that he was at one point 32nd in the world, and you don't usually break into the top 40 without having a base set of skills, which for some unknown reason we just did not see in that first game. Now, as to whether Chong Yi-han can capitalize on that first game, let's not take anything away from him. He played his part well. He compounded the unforced errors with a couple of great winners of his own. And that's really what Tan Junxiang should be doing here. He should be letting his more inexperienced opponent make the errors. There you go. There's a lot more power coming in now. Out as well, so 3-love. This was more the kind of game you'd expect, or I was expecting in the first episode of this match, but as I said, for some unbeknownst reason, Tan Chun Seong just wasn't there. Finished off very nicely. There's only one shot that Chong could have played from that position, and he couldn't really control how high it was going to be over the net, so it was open for the net kill. And you can just see that Tan Chun Seong has really put a little bit more effort and power, speed into his game. I'm sure his coaches are going to be wondering what happened in that first game. And now he's showing that spirit that we've seen, to be honest, in all the pairs and players from Muar City Badminton Club today. They've all delivered for the club. They've created this fantastic scoreline of 12-3, which means that even now, should Tan Chun Seong lose this match, he will still have a very good shot at the top of the league. He's reading that corner quite well. What was also impressive in that shot was, in that point, was how he moved forward after his smash. That's something we definitely didn't see in the first game. And again, these errors proving to be quite costly for Chong. At least he's pulling back a couple of points. Just a word there to his coaches. That look by the hand signals that even he knows that he's just... Look at the unforced errors there, 11-7. We saw a few from Lee Hyun-il, which were unexpected. And by the looks of the game he's playing now, all of those did probably come in that first game, but he's also keeps trying that smash, the cross-court smash to the right corner. He's missed 3 times in a row, and sometimes when your trademark shot or your favorite shot keeps missing, you have this tendency to keep trying to play it until, of course, you get it in. Now, that's at great cost. This is good from Chong. Held his line mid-court, right at the tee. He's done very well here. Look at the power on that smash. Very good smash The question I'm asking is, why have we not seen that smash on a far more regular basis? The doubles pairing of Chow and Mak earlier in the men's doubles. And you saw the power of their smashes and the consistency of them as well, and how quickly they delivered their points. And it looks like Tan Chun Sung does have that ability. He's just drifting in and out. And that's letting a much younger, much more inexperienced opponent keep pace with him here. He does have game point here. And this will further add, if he can get it, to Muar City's massive lead. That one's out, he's got it, 11-8. I don't think he'll be specifically worried. Let's look at his positioning and where he's placing some of these shuttles, and you already saw the space there. Could only play the forehand lift, and now he shifts the direction over, and he keeps pushing it over to the left side. And as soon as he knows that Chong was maybe out of his depth, instead of going for the smash into the open right corner, he just let Chong play into the corner that has not been troubling most players, but of course for the younger players as well, who aren't used to drafty courts, haven't played that many tournaments. There's a greater chance he's going to make a mistake there, and that's exactly what he did. So, smarter play from Tan Chun Siang in that second game. 13-3 is the tie score now. And as you can tell, you're not going to need a calculator to confirm that if they can just maintain this plus 10 game difference, they will be a full 4 games ahead of the current league leaders. And that could be all they need for the next round of ties. If they can put in another performance like this, then they could streak away. It is very much like a football league format, of course, where all teams are urged to win right from the very start. In the English Premier League right now, of course, Chelsea have been doing that. They are now 9 points clear, and that can be translated to this format as well. And if Muar City keep coming out in their match days and adding on +5s, +6, they will be strong contenders to be champions of the first Kopiko Purple League. But that's the journalist in me coming out. I'm not going to definitely stretch my neck out now and say that they're going to win on the first match day, but it is an impressive scoreline, 13-3. And difficult to engineer, as there are so many different components to your team, so many different matches to play. It means you need a unified front. Now, Chong was a bit upset with the way he returned that. It was an easy enough return. He just want to lift it across very low over the net and make Tan stretch for it. Didn't quite get the height he needed. He's 3-1 down. Good recovery there from Tan. Good positioning as well, right in the middle of the court. And just see how he can reach everything. I'm not being overly critical, but of that scoreline 13-3, the only real game that was won was in that first tie against Lee Hyun-il by Chim Jun-wei. The other 2 games were very lucky, and really down to a lack of focus from Muar City, which can be expected with so many games having to be played. So Nusajaya with a lot of thinking to do after this match day as to how they can best use their strengths and put a more unified front out. But of course, as time will tell, we'll find out if Muar City really are as powerful as they seem to be today. If they can do the same thing to all the other clubs, then we may have the favorite. Drifted for the first two shots, powered for the third. So with a 3-point lead now. And just never moving from that central tee. Just his positioning now is very good. And it's just the accuracy. If you look at every single one of the last 3 points that Tan Chun-Siang has played, he's always returning to the middle of those service boxes, right on the tee. Best place to reach every shot, or the best chance you'll have to reach every shot that's coming at you. It's very much the same in squash. There he is again, returning. And he lunges forward, he comes back, and then, as you can see, he's pushing his opponent further and further away from that tee, leaving spaces. One out on the left, there you go. If you can read the game like that, you can see, just waited for that space to open up on the left and then killed it with the power. So, and look at those smash winners, clearly ahead, 10-3. So this is a much better performance from Tan Chun-Siang. And once again, we just have to question as to what happened in that first game when he was 9-1 down. Did manage to claw it back to 9-6. But then too little too late. So it's a little bit more focused now. Just asking for a court mop down, a bit of moisture on the court. Very important to get all that moisture cleared. So much movement in badminton, lateral, forward, diagonal jumps. And the footwear they use, of course, allows for that movement, but it also means that if you do slip, that you can twist tendons and ankles very, very easily indeed. So it's really a testament to the achievements of all the court moppers and to keep the courts as dry as possible. And found that left side again. And this has been a really good singles performance in this game, especially from Tan Chun-Siang. More respectable and definitely worthy of that statistic of being the 32nd in the world at one point. That was in 2013, last year. As easy as that. So Muar City back in control, and I think that little fist pump there is probably finally, as we look at this, I said he's always going to return back to the tee there. then he stretches, so then he's back, pushes the pressure in, moves forward with the high lift, back on the tee again, hits that spot once again. As soon as the space is opened up, he keeps pressuring that 1 point, but to do that, you have to keep returning all the time. So it's not just about the shots you play, also about, it's a very good example of the positional aspect to the game, especially in men's singles, of course. With men's doubles, a lot of the space already taken up. For the likes of Chong Yi-han here, if you're going to be one of the top singles players, and of course now you can go off and watch one of the 21-point Lindan games, or Lindan Lee Chong Wei classic matches, and you can see the tiniest of areas that both players have to aim at. And Lindan, of course, invariably finds them. So a bit of frustration there from Chong. You get that inevitability, that feeling that the consistency that Tan Chun-Siang is now showing will just see him through.
Service over 1-3.
1-3. I think we've seen the max of Chong Yi-han's game. I don't think he has an extra gear he can get into. That was a nice move.
2-3.
Great jump smash. That one's fine for a doubles game, not for a singles game. So again, giving lots of chances to his opponent, but as I said, I think we've seen the max from Chong Yi-han. I'm not expecting him to streak away anymore now that Tan Chun-Siang has refocused. Just alarming what happened in that first game. If you have just joined us in the middle of this game, unbelievably, Chong Yi-han was 9-1 up against his opponent. Just a loss of focus, and of course the other commentators who have joined me in the commentary box this week, Sharon Wee for the first 2 days, and of course we were very honored to have the Puchong United manager, Arena, sitting next to me. And both of them were saying how in an 11-point format, just the tiniest loss of focus will mean that you're up against it. That's exactly what happened to Tan Chun-Siang. He lost that game. And I'm expecting him to keep the power on here. The unforced errors a little bit more even now. So, as we get into what I'm sure is going to be the last passage of play, unless, of course, Tan Chun-Siang has another one of his lapses, and that is very harsh to say to him, as it was only that one time, but I think everyone watching in the stadium and here on Astro saw exactly how costly that was. Good trade-off from mid-court for both players. That's the fastest exchange we saw. And then just a disguise jump into the open area of the court again. Chong did see it, but he just reacted a bit too late. And the shuttle was on the floor before he knew it. So 5-4. That's an interesting stat, that the clear winners have come from Chong Yi-han. Definitely a shot maker. But since the midpoint break, the next 2 points have gone to Muar City. Already in total control of this tie.
Service over. 5-6.
That's a very odd choice of shot from Tan Chun Sung to play such a short lift over the net when you know that your opponent is standing right in front of you. If you saw earlier in the first men's singles, if Lee Hyun-il was in that position, you play a very high lift to the back of the court, which would at least force some movement. That net kill very easy for Chong Yi-han. So it's 6-all. A chance again, perhaps, for Chong Yi-han. That one's in.
Service over. 7-6.
And that's inviting the jump smash. And again, I'm quite perplexed at some of the shots that Tan Chun Sung has chosen. It was the ideal opportunity to jump and push it to the right, back right, behind Chong Yi-han. And also favoring that right side, the windy side of the court. It's been accruing less points. So a chance here at 8-7 for Chong Yi-han to take this to a 5th game, which in this tie would be highly unexpected after a run of 9 straight games for Muar City in the early matches. That has given them that commanding 14-3 lead. That one's wide. And you kind of think that young Chong Yi-han needed that. And he keeps picking that side. This time it was in. So as I was saying, some players just keep playing the shot until they do actually get the one that they wanted. A few points back, and finally he has that smash into the corner, the right corner. It's 9-8. He's now back in command of this game. There's the high lift. Fortunately, he hit the net.
Service over. 9-all.
Much better play from Tan Chun Sung. And there you go. There is that power. And every time he has used that power, it's really forced an emergency return from Chong Yi-han. Invariably, it's got him the point, and this time it's got him match point. So this one to make it 15-3. Plus 12 game difference. Double what we've seen so far in the match days. 3 that have been played this week. It's all already getting very interesting. Kopiko Purple League. And don't forget that this was designed to create this exact feeling, this exact tension where every point works. It's been about a year in the making, this tournament, under the vision of Dr. Jack Coe. I can tell you from meeting the man, he's so hands-on. He's literally everywhere at once. So eventually Tan Chunxiang comes through, 11-9. As was expected. I'm sure there'll be question marks asked as to what happened in that first game when he was 9-1 down. From Tan Chunxiang, and perhaps he'll tell us what happened in that first game.
15-3. Jeevan, thanks. We're down here on the tournament arena floor. How do you feel? Did you feel like you're going to win this match from the start? Feeling confident now that you can do well in the season?
Actually, I think I'm quite confident because all my teammates give the very semangat and make me feel like I want to win this tournament.
So what was the strategy that your coach told you to do for this match? Did you follow it all the way? What was the strategy?
Actually, in the first set, I always play leave, then I cannot handle the pressure because I'm too nervous. Luckily, second set, my coach calmed me down, so I can manage to win this game.
So nervous or not, you did very well. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, picking up more points for Muar City BC, Tan Chunxiang. All right, back to you in the commentary box. We're going to be heading into our next set.
So as we look at the highlights of that,
Could Muar City BC be the first team to do it? Could they get all 6 straight wins?
has been a fantastic performance, as JD is just summarizing. They would in fact be the first club that we've seen to just blitz their opponents. And with the benchmark set by Kapong and Puchong at +5 and +6 game difference, well, what we're looking at here is a much bigger +12. Now, if we look at that, equal on unforced errors, but if you think of their world rankings, Tan Chunxiang should not be making that many errors. He made up for it with the smashes, of course, and quite balanced at the net. So good experience for Chong Yihan as we finish this tie with the second men's doubles. Tan Bin Shen and Teo Kok Siang very strong against Lim Kim Hwa and Lin Wun Kui. It's going to be a high-quality match. And again, the onus on Nusajaya to just up their points, up their games. Nusajaya to get as many games as possible on the board so that they can hopefully build on a good score on their second tie. They're not going to win this tie, that's for certain. The general trend this week has been that if you can, and as I said, it's the inaugural Purple League, so we are all just kind of drifting into these theories as they turn up, but so far this week it's looked like if you can come away from your match day with a good 10 games, win or lose, then you're at least set up for the next set of ties. You can build upon that. Tan Bin Shen, 30 now, ranked 207th in the world. And Teo Kok Siang, 24, 243rd in the world. They are the players tasked with possibly extending this lead. Not that it's big enough already at 15-3. And no wonder they're warming up with a smile on their face, because really, for them, not that much to lose. We did see one of the ties on match day 3, As I said, Puchong at that point had the highest game difference, which was +7, with 2 matches to play in the tie. And then a comeback from Serang meant that that +7 was eroded down to 5 in the end, and denied Puchong that spot on the top of the table. The way that this looks right now, being 12 games ahead, should Tan Bin Shen and Teo Kok Siang, both experienced, lose 3-0, then it would still mean that Muar City have a +9 game difference and would definitely be top of the first Purple League table, and by a full 3 games as well. So Stephen Ong in the umpire tower, and Ian Spear is the service judge. They, like me, have watched every single point. But of course, I get the privilege and honor of really looking at these points from a few different angles, whereas they have to look at it from the legal angles and the rules of the game. So far, they have been impeccable over the first 4 match days. And really credit to all of them. A lot of fans sitting off to my right, and more coming in, probably waiting for the second tie, which is of course Kajang versus Klang United. And we'll see the likes of Nelson Hegwai Kiat, Ong Soon Hock, and Setiawan, all playing. And let's just see what strategies they've got. Of course, we'll get to that after this. The final match in the tie between Muar City and Nusajaya, where Muar City, through combined effort, all their players, all their pairs, have managed to create a +12 game difference, which is really impressive stuff. And again, being a doubles match, the points, early points coming in very quickly indeed. And this might be a good final stand from Nusajaya if they can win this 3. Of course, Muar City would still be top of the table, and by a mile. But more importantly, Nusajaya would have 6 games under their belt. It's a much better tally to work off, as at the end of the season in February, it's all going to be about games and points. First real sting we've seen from Nusajaya. First real powerful weapons. So as the first game progresses, Lim Kim-hwa and Lin Woon-pui